earth, coming down like Hiroshima. I see prophets rising up, prophesying scriptures cut. I see Christ, he coming back, and he black, he look like us. I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it.
We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to another edition, Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern Time. Precept upon precept. We are your hosts. We're short tonight. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Micah.
And without further ado, Israel, we're going to jump right in. We have a new format. We're going to jump right into the Watchman Report for updated news throughout the world with Officer Micah.
Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's get started. I want to hold up a great show. Come on. A deadly epidural delivered by a doctor with a history of mistakes. You can read this one. They jabbed the needle like 13 inches into the sister's back too far, and they killing us, y'all. Next article, please. Fatal Memphis traffic stop. Remnants of Rodney King's assault, Attorney Crump says. This was sad to read. Y'all go back and check it out. These police officers, they beat the hell out of this brother. Transgender organization wants to ban Aretha Franklin's A Natural Woman because they say it's offensive. Guess they should have stayed their gender. But they still are their gender. We know what the hell is this confusion. Next article. Russia unleashes missiles, drones at Ukraine after Kyiv secures tanks, 11 dead. They still fighting over there. There's some more fighting coming up. Next article. U.S. military raid in northern Somalia kills a senior ISIS leader and 10 ISIS fighters. So U.S. is fighting in Somalia just like they fighting in Ukraine. And this concludes the Watchman Report.
Tech team. We getting there, y'all. We getting there. Hey, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Real quick, we jumping in tonight's show. Show the thumbnail, please. We're gonna dig into what is happening to the black middle class. What has happened to the black middle class? And really, the black middle class represents, when you think about middle class, you think about respectability. You think of family. You think of morality. You think of value. And that's what black people were trying to get to, okay? And why is that being destroyed? Well, you look at the thumbnail, okay, if you see in the back, abortion is a major, last week's show, we covered that. Abortion was one of the single leading, because now there was no more shotgun weddings, meaning that you were forced morally to do the right thing, okay? Then we got back where integration. Integration, it was a destruction for us. When we were not integrated, we had much higher rates of black marriages, a much lower rate of single-parent households. And when I say single-parent, predominantly single-mother households. And you look around, just some basic things that you see the sisters holding a sign. Okay, and you know it's amazing because many black women actually are pro-choice, which means they are pro-killing or pro-execution of the black womb. Okay, integration means better education. That's completely 100% debatable. There's a sign that says, where is it? School, support the school boycotts, blah, blah, blah. What else? Better, okay. And then you see in the back, you see there was a white person holding a sign. And that's where we kind of fell apart, is in the 60s. Now, real quick, let's start first with, I don't want article number 1. our tech team does a pretty good job. They actually label our articles for us, which is pretty cool. So we get in there. But I want to jump to, let me see. I want to start first with, I was going to go number 1. I don't want New Orleans first. I want to show you imagery. Get me the furniture one. It's the guy with the horrible toupee. The white dude with the horrible toupee. Number 4. It's funny when you see, like, back in the day, like, he really thought nobody could see this. He looked like he white dude, but he looked like play. He looked like kid, rather. All right, so look. So let me just put the backdrop. So this is actually television commercials from New Orleans, Louisiana, from the 60s, early 70s, right around the 60s, early 70s time period. What I want us to pay attention is to the imagery, and when they show black people, how do they depict them? It's basically a collage or a group of various commercials that people would see some 50 years ago in New Orleans. All right? Let's go ahead and play.
Miller the killer, he kills them all.
Rats and ants and mice and fleas, roaches, termites, all of these.
Oh, Miller,
The killer.
he kills them all.
So this first one is really just about pest control.
He kills them all.
So real quick, pause. So remember, New Orleans, Louisiana is a predominantly, or historically has been a predominantly black city, or where a majority of the citizens were black or brown, right? So now in the 60s, there was a whole lot of black folks in New Orleans as well. So this is at I think it's Pontchartrain Park, at a place where you go bring the family. So let's pay attention to the imagery that we're seeing here. Play.
Fun, you'll have fun every day of the week. You'll love the thrilling rides, laugh till you split your sides at Pontchartrain Beach.
Where can you go for family fun? Let's go to Pontchartrain Beach. Good, clean, wholesome family fun. Let's go to Pontchartrain Beach.
So what I want you to see is this. So at Pontchartrain Beach, and they might show a black couple here and there. I think I didn't even notice here. But what you're going to notice is that you're going to see a lot of white men with their wives and their children, and they show them smiling over and over again. At Pontchartrain Beach, that's South Shore. That's right where we did our Friends and Family, which is, it's literally right at the bottom of the lake. If you look at Lake Pontchartrain, y'all, it's at the bottom of the lake. They call it the South Shore, and that's New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay? Play on. Actually, that was not a brother. That was a white dude.
Kids go together with Pontchartrain Beach for fresh family fun.
And Johnny Furniture
So,
is having a
so when you look, and I had to look at the ad, every single one of the ads shows white folks with their families having a good time. Okay, I'm going to show you why we're going here.
Hey, Cap.
Yes, sir.
This commercial, we grew up on this. Frankie and Johnny's.
Right.
Who say I say? I say. Frankie say I say. This, we as kids, Cap.
Mm-hmm.
The way that we used to tell people that they could have stuff was how the black man said it. Let them have it.
So watch the coonery that is about to take place right here. And when you watch this, you realize that it's no wonder why the pressures that are put on black people to assimilate to white society is absolutely amazing. And that's why you see today the culmination of black people, the pressure for when they make it to straighten their hair, to dye their hair, to bleach their skin, to make their prominent lips and nose smaller, which is friggin' amazing. God gave you something, and you want to correct what God gave you. That's the pressures of a white society, and the thing 40, 50 years ago, they just what play on? What you gonna see?
You can buy 3 complete rooms of furniture for only $699 with only $250 down. Just $50 down on select items will put you in a great bedroom set or living room set today with no problem. All senior citizens get a 10%
This may be the 80s. I know that some are 60s remastered. Some may be early 80s. If you saw it when you was a kid, maybe late 70s, and maybe they aired it for a while. But you could tell from the camera work, it's the beginning of getting a little bit better for their cinematography. I think that's the word. Play.
Credit or no credit, no problem. Are you on welfare or Social Security? Are you newlywed?
So here's the thing. So first thing they say, are you on welfare or Social Security? And watch what we're about to see next.
No problem. Are you on welfare or Social Security? Are you newlyweds? No problem. Come see us.
I say. This is Frankie and Johnny's, a place that lets you have it with no problem. I'd like to buy a bedroom set.
Do you have any credit?
So real quick. So I'm like, yo, I said, check this black man out. Go back. And I realized we're going to deal with the sister in a minute. So Frankie, I think that's his name. So I'm like, yo. I'm like, what up, black? But that's a white dude, and that's a toupee. That thing is fake, you know? I was about to make a joke about Gabe, but I can't do that right now. Gabe, I'm not gonna make a joke about you right now. Play on. So that's a toupee.
Do you have any credit?
No, I receive Social Security and welfare.
Now pause. So when you look at the sister's face, it's like you think she really want to say that? Nope. And it's a target, man. It's a target. And you notice they mention are you newlywed? And then they talk about are you welfare or SSI? And then they roll to the black woman, right? So play it again with the sister.
No problem. I'd like to buy a bedroom set.
Do you have any credit?
No, I receive Social Security and welfare.
You have to see the special man. With no problem.
I like to buy a living room set.
Do you have any credit?
No, I filed bankruptcy.
You have to see the special man. With no problem. I say. See Frankie and Johnny, easy credit man in town. For only $50 down, they can put you in a living room set, a bedroom set today. See the special man.
I got the $50.
With no problem.
I got it with no problem.
We used to hate that dude.
That's a good movie.
We used to hate that with no. We used to hate that dude. The special man. Everybody said that. Everybody that's in New Orleans, just let her have it with no problem. We hated that, seeing that, because that dude's face just gets on your nerves. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, all of that stuff was promoted to predominantly black people.
But think about it, right? They mentioned 3 things. Are you a newlywed? So newlywed is a good thing, right? But then they mentioned Social Security, and I think they said bankruptcy. And then they show, and notice what we didn't see is black men. They showed black women, and it showed them, even though you are a failure, you can still get rewarded. And that's what this society does for black women. You can be a failure. You can abort your baby. You can get on Section 8. You don't need no man. You good. And that's what this teaches. It also teaches the fact that these sisters, man, for them to have to stand in front of and to say that, that's demoralizing. And they showed a little bit older sister of single with no man next to her, bankrupt. The other sister said, I'm on Social Security and disability, or Social Security and welfare. And then she's dressed, when you look at, she's got a bunch of makeup on. She had straight hair, right? So this is the imagery that we saw in, well, I wasn't here, but Officer Matt, when he was a kid, and a lot of y'all parents in this room saw this. And this is the way, when you see imagery from the 60s, 70s, and even early 80s, it shows white people. And there's more to this video, right? Keep playing. This is not even the best part.
No problem. I say. See Frankie and Johnny, easy credit man in town. For only $50 down, they can put you in a living room set, a bedroom set today. See the special man.
I got the $50.
With no problem.
I got it with no problem.
Oh my God, that's a good movie. Sure.
How you feel?
I feel bad.
Oh, take this crawfish good medicine.
So pause. So I got to tell a story, right? So I came when I first moved down here, right? I really was ignorant. I didn't know certain things. So I'm looking at this place with a couple older brothers, and I said, what the hell is that? I'm like, yo, that's a big ass ant mound. I really didn't know what it was. And so down here, even in places where it's above sea level, they have, if it's low-lying areas, they have things called crawfish or crawdaddies. And they're like little lobsters, and they could be far from a lake, a pond. They just climb out, and these big holes, like big anthills, like this big with a hole like this big. So what he's talking about is crawfish. And this is another thing that they push in New Orleans and other places is this unlawful food. So this is one example, but I wanted to show in the video the imagery that it is always going to be anything to do with things that they uphold as positive, which is horrible, unclean foods. But just to show you, play on.
I feel good. I feel good. I feel good.
Seafood City is a very pretty town of Broad and St. Bernard.
That's Seafood City, 1826.
More abroad. All these places. Now here real quick. So now this is McKenzie's, and this is talking about it's a donut. I heard donut. It's supposed to be really good. They say, right?
McKenzie's has some of the best donuts. After church, you go to McKenzie's and get you a bunch of donuts. That's what we look forward to as kids.
So McKenzie, so this is, and like Officer Matt, you're not quite 40 yet, right? So we got brothers in the room and other brothers. So, but let's look at McKenzie's, and we got a brother right here who used to go as a kid. Watch how they market all. If New Orleans is a predominantly black city, and a lot of people have experienced it, let's watch at McKenzie's how they target their projected audience they want to show is. Play.
Here they are, and we bake them fresh 7 days a week. Mackenzie's Buttermilk Drops, only $2.29 a dozen. Their taste is guaranteed to be a smile wide. Mackenzie's Buttermilk Drops, made with the finest and freshest ingredients and cooked in soybean oil. Great with coffee or milk. Create a Mackenzie sensation for your whole family. Bring home the Mackenzie's Buttermilk Drops.
Mackenzie's, you taste the difference.
Okay, now let's get to some fashion. Let's get to some fashion because now they're going to show some different shoes and women's garments and clothes. Let's see who they're going to show.
Hey, Cap, real quick. You know, Mackenzie's, they just showed a bunch of white kids on Mackenzie's commercial. Now, today, Mackenzie's is a chicken shop. It's right off of Elysian Fields. And
okay.
They make a bunch of chicken for black people now.
Wow. Now, keep in mind, when those of you ever come to New Orleans, many places you're going to go, you do, well, it's gentrified after Katrina from what I hear, but it is still very much a lot of black people, okay? So play on.
So what's new? It's the Town Square look by CoverGirl. It's so neat, so with it, so CoverGirl. Step out in CoverGirl shoes from Labiche's, where young ideas take shape.
A special invitation from Tommy Godchaux to view the newest fashions highlighting the gala social season for home entertaining. For a member of the wedding
This is probably late 60s right here.
For festive club parties and for sparkling Mardi Gras balls. Tommy
Pause real
Godchaux
quick. So what's really, really big down here, and everybody else in the room knows about it, but when you first moved down here, I never knew anything about it other than what you see. Mardi Gras is not, as Mikael pointed out, Mardi Gras is just not a day. It's a whole season down here. And Mardi Gras was never designed for you black people. What we were the subjects of the mockery, okay? And Mardi Gras was designed for white people to get dressed up with masks and watch other people serve them. And the slaves became felon. But this, when they used to advertise about Mardi Gras, this is what it was for. This is the origin of it. Okay, play on.
To see everything that's new and exciting at Godchaux's for the gala social season. And expect to be utterly fascinating in her new dress from God Show's high-fashion little couture? Might she even indulge?
So real quick, here's the point. The point of showing you the imagery is that America portrays the imagery in their advertisements of a nuclear heterosexual family structure with a man leading and a woman right there to support, and everything is catered and designed to them. Okay? So tonight's show is about why has the black middle class been destroyed and continue to be destroyed. It is systematic, and it is designed and set up, and that's why you have the setup you have today with so many single mother households. So now, let's go let's start at number one. We're going to jump to one, and we will jump around. I want to show some. This is I think it's 12 minutes and 20 seconds. And this is heavy because we're going to go back to the 60s. And I think this is, some of it's in Chicago, but we're going to show you that there was an increase and a rise in the black middle class. And there was no such thing as gender fluidity. There was a family consisted of a husband, a wife, and values. And black people began to rise up throughout the country in the really starting the mid to late 50s. After World War II, there was a boom. And then in the early 60s, we begin to see more. There was a slight drop, but let's start at 12 minutes. Okay, real quick. So this is a major black-owned and operated company in Chicago with over 250 employees. Most of them are black. They had a multi-million-dollar budget. And I'm just showing you advertising budget. Back then, that was like today would be tens and tens of millions. These are all black folks joking around. And a lot of us, we might not think. No, we had companies like this in the 60s where this is an event, okay? They're having a meeting. I guess something happened, some good numbers. Let's just let it play on.
Negro business in general, however, remains in the small business category. Discrimination by lenders, suppliers, and insurance companies often makes their success a precarious one.
Now pause real quick. So one thing that we had in the 1960s, this is just a review for most of you, is that we understood the enemy. There was overt racism in housing markets. You were called nigger to your face. You knew who the enemy was. And that's more of a reason for the woman to stick to her man for protection, okay? The civil rights movement and integration took away the face of the enemy, okay? Play on.
That many larger white firms have recently discovered the $32 billion Negro market under their very noses.
Yeah, smaller black business. So I want you to share something. So what he said is that the majority of Negro businesses were small businesses, very little were high. And there became a rise in the Negro middle class, and white folks started to say, hold up, this is an emerging market. So we had black businesses and black investment firms that were trying to finance black people to get in their homes, and white people said, wait a minute, we're going to underbid and try to take away black businesses. They saw it as a market. Just like today, they see black people as liquid money, and they know how to target and sell to black people. So they realized this back then. Play on.
Aspirations among Negroes are often centered on better housing, to an extent which frequently outrivals those of their white counterparts. Atlanta, Georgia's flourishing Negro middle class is widely noted for its extensive and highly status-conscious new development areas, such as this one in the prestigious Collier Heights section, built and financed by local Negro business.
Stop right there. So what began to happen in this country is, despite the enemy being in our face, despite the redlining, what they call it, Officer Matthew brought that out before, redlining is when they literally would draw lines and try to keep black people out of this neighborhood. Blacks, we came together with investment partners and developed communities in suburbs and paid for and financed for our people to move in, okay? This is what we're seeing, and this is in Atlanta, Georgia. So the reason why that was able to be done, you created an opportunity to put a house because you wanted to people have to live in those houses. Who was living in those houses? A black husband with a black wife and black children. That is the middle class. That's what we were striving to, okay?
So, Cap, you mean to tell me that we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps and got houses and financed them with black businesses and black money?
Absolutely.
Damn.
And let me tell you something about this is that it's the same thing that happened after. Remember, we did a show about a year ago or so. There were more elected black politicians to the federal, state, and local offices between 1868 and I think 1890 than any time in U.S. history. Okay, so we have had times when we have been really just we had to go build our own boots and then pull ourselves up by them because we didn't have nothing. But check this out. I'm going here for a reason. Something that's about to be said that is so profound because black people, despite their class, they knew who the hell they were. Play.
Conscious new development areas, such as this one in the prestigious Collier Heights section, built and financed by local Negro businessmen. In the past, white banks traditionally turned down Negro loan applications. Eventually, black institutions pooled their resources and moved into the vacuum.
Stop real quick. You heard that? You heard that? You heard that? Listen. It says white lending institutions or banks consistently turned down black loans. Black people saw that, and we came together, and we filled that vacuum. That's what it's called, the vacuum effect. White people said, wait a minute. So these niggas got money to pay, and you doing that? Then they came behind it and saw the opportunity. So that's why we have to, when we stick together, the point is when we stick together, we can do things and create our own neighborhoods. And today's show is going to show you that they had to stop this. This was starting to happen all over the country. How do they stop this? Well, number one, you take away the face of the enemy. Now you have integration. Now you integrate the children. Now you got confusion. Then you bring in the drugs. You bring in, and then abortion was a huge, Roe versus Wade in the early 70s was an absolute detriment to our communities. This was taking, this is 1968, okay? And more and more black banks and businesses were coming together and creating opportunities like this. Play on.
White firms are belatedly trying to outbid black banks and black contractors for a share of one of the fastest growing markets in town. But whether they seek private houses or high-rise apartments, such as in these Chicago cooperatives, most Negro home seekers still find themselves barred from all but largely segregated areas. Even those who could afford better are often trapped in substandard, overcrowded units, while such better housing as does become available is swamped with frustrated applicants.
So not only do we have, you can stop real quick, not only if we had the economic means, if we had the education, the opportunities to get into these places were very far and few between. And that's why you see the movie called, I think it's called The Maid, with the sister, The Help. So in the movie The Help, these sisters were educated. And the only thing that they could find was a maid service, despite them being incredibly intelligent. This is the beginning of the movie. So this is something that we faced because it was systematic racism, okay? Now, we all know this is not. So why were we able to live and have better values and stick together in our own communities despite much harder situations that we have today? Okay, it's because we were together. And we understood that we needed to be one unit. And that's how the middle class was created, the black middle class. Now, play on. We're going to let this play for a minute because it's something that talks about vacation. Read on. Play
their
on.
Children. No matter where they live or with whom they work, when it comes to social activities, most Negro Americans, frozen out of the white mainstream, constitute a veritable society within a society. Largely paralleling, but separate.
Just what Officer Matt just said something. He said, classy. And this is all these are black women. And if you notice, two things that it should jump right at you. Number one, try to find a fat one. That's number one. Now, I'm not being insensitive. Let's see if we can find a fat sister. Okay. Number two, listen, you sisters that's overweight, I ain't gonna get on none of y'all. It's a choice that you have. You have the choice. It's your choice, not ours. We're gonna get the brothers to lose weight first, and we're gonna look at the over you. There's very few. During this time, there were very few obese black women. Also, all of them, it was known throughout society that you wore a dress, and they all wore dresses, not just into the gala or the ball, but they wore dresses in their everyday lives. So with the value of middle-class black families came husband, wife, proper dress, in by a certain time, go to bed by a certain time, go to school, come home, do your homework. There was regimentation, there was structure, there were morals being taught in the black family. Well, Esau systematically saw that, and that's why integration happened. Now, listen, it happened, the Most High happened for a reason. Integration happened, and then a pivotal turning point in the 70s when you had a lot of free love and drugs, and then in early 70s with the abortion passing, which the legalization of abortion. And then you saw it just continue to decline. Now, 70% of black children are raised with single mothers, okay? And during the 60s, it wasn't even close to that, okay? Play on.
The various levels of social structure found among whites. This Waldorf Astoria debutante cotillion, given semi-annually by the New York chapter of a leading Negro women's club called the Girlfriends, is virtually identical to those held here by white groups, save for color.
The white cotillions, they have their junior leagues. Of course, you know there is no colored junior league. Well, the Girlfriends is a very friendly group of girls. They do charitable
Now,
work.
pause real quick. So this is in the 60s, and this sister that's talking is probably in her 50s. So I want you to understand something. Let's just say I'm wrong and she's 50 years old even, right? Might be a little older. So this is 68. So say she was born in 1918, right? It's 68, 1918. What do you think she saw as a girl? What do you think her parents told her as a girl? And this is something that we as the 12 tribes of Israel, right in this room who have repented, we still have what they have. What she says something that, first I'm like, oh, what is she talking about? But she and this other brother that's going to talk about vacationing, they understood. They understood. If you do not have the enemy in sight that's oppressing you and know who he is, you cannot have a black middle class. You cannot have a family structure. Play on.
Work, and it's a social group. I have a lot of white friends, and I think the ones that I have, they like me as me, and they like to work along with me. But I don't think that they want to particularly invite me to their homes, to their parties, which is perfectly all right with me.
Stop. You see that right there? And so she said, which is perfectly all right with me. Well, she's being politically correct because she's being recorded, but she's basically saying, I put up with them. I do what I got to do to try to get in these circles. I know I'm not going to be welcome on the house, and I don't really give a damn. Okay? That's these, because these sisters seen things in their time, right? Play on.
Their homes to their parties, which is perfectly all right with me. And you wouldn't want to go? No. I mean, their friends and I probably wouldn't have anything in common, and we probably would. We don't know that. Wow. We meet together on certain bases, but I don't expect to be invited to their parties, and I'm sure they wouldn't enjoy coming to mine.
You heard that? She said, you know, I really wouldn't enjoy going to their parties, and I'm sure they wouldn't enjoy coming to mine. Meaning that, listen, we don't need you. And that's what we had together. And that's what I'm saying. As the 12 tribes of Israel, when you read Zephaniah 2, get that real quick, Officer Micah. We have to understand that part of gathering together with the 12 tribes does not mean we gathering with the other nations. And this is why I like watching old black movies. I like talking to older black people because there's a sense of understanding of some sort of history. Today, these brothers with their skinny jeans and their weak mannerisms, I'm not going to say there is some hope with some of these brothers, but there is a complete just lack of adherence to the struggle. Read.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
In the 60s, they knew that they were not desired by the white man. That's why they had their own thing, and their own thing was separate. And by the way, if you take that room full of them sisters and brothers, 1,000,000 times more flavor, more beautiful, everything is better. And they know that. But they have the position of power. They control all the media. They control all the most of the employment opportunities. So they understood that their enemies were over them, and they were still able to do these events, get together, buy homes, and do things because they had each other and they understood family structure. Okay, read on.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff,
right.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
And the Lord has not forgotten about what that sister went through, and her mom and her grandfather. He has not forget our struggle. Now, play on. We're going to speed it up. I'm stopping too much.
In recent years, however, there has been some increase in integrated social affairs, such as at the annual Evening of Elegance held last summer at Mrs. Sidney Poitier's Westchester estate. Invited guests paid $60 per couple for an elaborate evening of cocktails, dining, and dancing.
I think that many people in this country who are white, they come in contact with Negroes through advisory boards and benefit committees, and this in itself brings about a certain amount of communication. People can sit down over a cocktail and talk about the world's problems. This in itself is a form of dovetailing into society, into the mainstream. These are the people who are called upon to contribute to every cause, to every organization, to every social agency. $100 a ticket for this, $200 for that, for a couple to go somewhere.
It's just good to see that. Y'all need to go back and look at the history. You know what I like? When I see brothers from I see a lot more self-dignity in the way they present themselves. It just, you could tell they was going through stuff and they were still taking their licks and standing up. It was a stronger sense of who they were in a worldly sense. I'll say that. Play on.
Of someone else. The entire involvement of these groups involves participation and giving of themselves, of their money, of their time to those less fortunate than they. In this respect, yes, there is a Negro society.
Man, when I take my family on a vacation,
I like this. This is a middle class brother who has the means to take himself on a vacation. So he's not living in the projects. Even that's what I'm saying. Even back then, the different classes of black people, we understood one thing. Okay, can you rewind it just a little bit, please? Just a little bit. Just listen to what this brother has to say. He's talking about something positive. He's excited about his vacation. Go ahead.
Man, when I take my family on a vacation, we want to relax. We don't want any problems with prejudiced white folks. So we go where we know we won't be bothered.
Stop. You see that? That's what I'm talking. When I heard that, I'm like, yo, rewind. He said, man. He said, when I go on vacation, he said, man, I want to relax. I don't want to deal with any prejudiced white folks. I want to go where I'm wanted. You see that? That's where we have to go back. So they created a society where they were wanted. And there were other black people, and they understood that even then. So that's what I admire about our people. We're very resilient. Judah, the tribe, this is Judah. This ain't Benjamin. No, shout out to Benjamin, shout out to Levi. This is Judah in the neck of our enemies, okay? Standing up, and I want this, play it again. Listen to what he's saying. You can tell that he don't talk like that at work, When he's around them devils at work, he got a sound. Now he can be free. Watch how there's freedom in his voice.
Man, when I take my family on a vacation, we want to relax. We don't want any problems with prejudiced white folks. So we go where we know we won't be bothered.
That may be down home to visit the family, up to Canada or Cape Cod, or even abroad to Europe or Africa. One popular vacation spot among Negroes is the resort town of Oak Bluff, Massachusetts, situated.
So in this time frame, they understood, all right, we're not wanted by this part of society. So we're going to stay over here with our part of society. When I want to have fun, I'm going to have fun with my part of society. When I want to go on vacation, I'm going to have vacation on my part of society. It's not like how after assimilation came, they was trying to force their way to have fun with white people and getting messed over. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a lot of black people that are portrayed on TV and stuff like that that are going around white folks to have a vacation or to have a good time, and they end up getting messed over. This brother said, no, I'm going to stick around my people where I'm comfortable, where I know I'm safe. That's powerful.
And you remember Bishop Yawasop spoke about the Negro Motorist Green Book?
Yes.
That's similar to what's going on right there. Like they have a guide that says, hey, I know I can go here and get a meal. I can go here and let my hair down, so to speak. I know my kids ain't got to worry about being called nigga over here. You know what I'm saying? So the brother on point.
Hey, get me Proverbs 3 verse 31. That's and this is the thing, and we're 2023 now. So according to Esau, we have to have the same spirit our forefathers have. Listen, I got to work around them. Okay, that's cool. When I leave the room or you call me whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, I'm going home to my black wife and my black man, Hispanic. Hey, you Puerto Ricans, you all black, okay? To our black, meaning the Israelites, and I want to be around these brothers only. I don't care. I don't want to go yachting with you. I don't want to drink a beer with you. I don't want to do any of that. But I'll tolerate you, and just like you tolerate me, okay? That's the way God wants it to be, okay? Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31.
And this brother that was going on vacation, he was not from the ghetto. He might have been his parents from there. He evolved to a middle class with resources in the 60s. So even back then, they understood that. Okay, when I take my family on vacation, I want to go where I don't have to deal with racist or prejudiced white folks. I want to go where I can relax, something along the lines of that. Read.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
Envy thou not the oppressor. Read on.
And choose none of his ways.
Right. And that also tends to his religion, his everything that's set up by him. Okay. One thing that they said earlier is that what we do as black people, we try to mirror what we see them doing. Like Ebony is an offset of the other white magazines. They try to do it in a black way. What we have to do is create our own cultural norms, our own things. Like what we're doing with original royalty music. Shout out to Deacon Isaac, and we're doing with the beginning stages of the film industry. We're going to create our own content, our own businesses. We're gonna be doing big garden projects throughout IUIC going forward, and we've already started. Shout out to brothers in these different southern states that's doing it. We're gonna be doing Preppers channel. We're creating our own, and it's not going to be modeled exactly after Esau. We're going to create our own styles, our own flavor, if you will, in Israel.
We got our own Wall Street Journal, the
Yes.
black version, the Israelite version, should I say?
Yes.
The Israelite version.
Yes, sir. Yes. Read that, please.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
Come on.
And choose none of his ways.
That's right. So, and we are not going, now look, you at your job, okay, you got to go to a training, you got to do something, it is what it is. After that's over, you can a little fake smile, whatever you got to do, okay? And he might treat you nice, and that's fine. Let them, great. Well, how's the kids? You go home to yours, and you leave that alone, okay? Observe the time. That's what black people were forced to realize, because they was calling you, Charles, you didn't tell me there's any niggers here. Like that was being said openly. See, when you got an enemy like that, you got to respect that. Oh, white people, get the hell out of here. Now, everything you think do you think that people like you? You now all of a sudden everything's changed? Come on, man. Pay attention. Now we're not listen, at your job, you gotta do what you gotta do. I understand it, right? And just you Negroes that are in delusion that you really think that they like you, you're delusional. Okay? All right? And you know why? Because I used to be one of those guys. I really think they really like me. Yeah, right. Okay, I don't get. Well, a lot of you, especially you light-skinned Puerto Ricans and light-skinned blacks, you make me sick more than anybody else. You need a doggone wake-up call. Notice if you got your wake-up call, water off a duck back, whatever. Okay? Where we at? That was it on that. Go to the next one, the very next one. It's in New Orleans. It's a very short YouTube video. I want to show you some more of a, I don't like that word. I'll say more of in a poverty-stricken neighborhood. I'll say that. More in the hood. Okay? This is it. I don't think, this might be it. Actually, there's one, the next one after this one, I want the remnants of the Black Panthers clashing with something in New Orleans. So play this first. So we teach we pretty much right in this street right here. This is Canal Street. So now what you're going to see here is the reason why I'm showing here is because they are going to show some black folks, and I want you to look at how they're dressed and how they're moving, how they walk. And I want you to try to picture today. Go to your local city today. Just think of the last time you was walking down the street and just see the distinction between the two eras. Okay? Play. One thing I noticed about New Orleans, as you look here, these streets are much busier. There's a lot of traffic, hustle and bustle going on. Yes. Play on. I hope this is the right one. Pause. Brothers walking down the street. They got their work clothes on. Okay, you see a sister with her handbag. She's got a dress or a skirt on, walking down the street. Play on. Pause. You see a sisters across the street, two dresses, walking across the street. And what I'm showing you is that this is not too long ago, okay? And it was just accepted that women had a role. This is how you dress. And I want you to think of how far we've come. This is prior to, I believe this is prior to right before Roe versus, right before abortion, right before the legalization of abortion. Play on. See more sisters, medical field. Every single one of them got dresses on. So that was quick, just to show you that there was a large population in New Orleans. You see black folks, and they were dressing, and they were much more middle class during this time. Why? Because abortion was not legal. If you had sex with a woman, she got pregnant, it was not accepted. It was shotgun weddings, and there was some sort of sense of morality. Okay, the white man saw the rising of the black middle class and even some upper middle class, and they had to do something about it. And the whole, remember, Massachusetts, they had in other states, you could not get contraception. You couldn't just get kind of like now they pass them out like candy in schools. You couldn't get contraception. Okay, you couldn't get access to an abortion unless it was illegal. So if you had a baby, guess what? You had to have the baby. You sent the girl down south, she had the baby, right? Let me do the next one. This is Black Panther Party. I think it's number 3. Yes. So the reason why I want to show this is because this is New Orleans. And this is I don't know what project this is, but aftermath scene. This is 1970, I believe. September 17th, 1970. So this literally is 53 years ago. I want you to look. This is a little after. This might be right around the same time. Now we're going to go. I'm not sure if it's Magnolia. I'm not sure if it's Fisher. I don't know where. I'm not from here, but it is definitely in a project area. But look at the Israelites. Look at them play. That says death to the fascist pig. So this is cops were coming in and they were basically terrorizing brothers, black men. And now look, a lot of us were doing terrible things. By us, I mean the Israelites who were unrepented. And but I want you to look at the sisters and brothers, because there's a big difference. We understood certain things play. Full of holes. It's showing you a bunch of bullet holes in cars.
I was down on Pleasure Street down here, and when the boy got shot, he hit the street. And when I seen two more fell down in the street, and I crawled from behind the house, and got behind this car over here with all the holes in it, and they went to shooting at me, and I kept hollering. I said, stop. I said, the man is hit. They said, they don't care. Get away. And they told me, stand up. And I said, no, for what, so he can shoot me?
Well, the little fellows, they were walking across the street, and the policeman's up in Bruce Grocery opened fire on him, and he shot 4 times, and 3 of them fell in the middle of the street, and one managed to crawl on the other side of the street.
The main thing I want to say, this is a tragic event. Black people died. Police were harassing. But one thing that I want to share with y'all is that in oppression and struggle, there is a foundation of knowledge to build from, right? And this is why the truth is so important, because every single one of us should see us in them. We should see, that's us right there, right? That's us. And what you see, everyone in that, I understand, is a poverty-stricken neighborhood. But the sisters, they ain't dye their hair. They rocking the froze, all of them. Because you know what I see here is, yo, girl, look, you ain't got to do that for them. You know what I'm saying? Their hair is woolly, okay? And the further we get forward after the abortion era is when you start to see the introduction of flat rock combs and the curling iron hot combs and the bleaching products and the Calcon 1B and all this BS weave. Back then, they didn't do that. And if they did that, it was, you might do it every once in a while, but then it became normalization. And the reason why is because now the guy that's filming him, they know that the people that look like him during this time were the enemy. Now they see him as God, because as soon as now you give them welfare, you give them all these different things, these benefits, and now they have the right to get rid of their baby. Okay, well, who's making this happen? It's not the black man. So this is deep, deep psychological when you see this. So we got to see, these are our people. This is us. That's me in the back. That's you. That's your wife. That's your sister. And we got to see this, man, you know?
They kept, even in that poverty-stricken area, they still had a sense of community. All them kids, they played together. All of them kids, they respected their elders. All of them kids, they went home. They had parents that still cared about their schoolwork. They still had to come in before the street lights, all that stuff. They had a sense of community still, even though they was poor.
Yes, and you know, and as we go further into the 80s, 90s, and as they brought crack in, they brought weapons, because don't nobody in New Orleans have a production factory where they make weapons and rounds. And when you see here, there's virtually no tattoos, okay? They're not abusing their body, and it's just, when you see this, yeah, they struggle, but this is the way we were. We wore our struggle. We understood the enemy. And when I see that, I'm proud, because it don't matter how much money they had. There's something very, very, very special about those people. That's what I see, you know. Next video, please. And this is just for imagery. I want us to see that. Yes, sir. All right, we're gonna move on out. I got that. Okay. Now we're gonna switch gears a little bit. So now I want us to get. We about to roll to break, and then Kingdom Music. Okay, let's do that. So look, real quick. Stick around, y'all. We're gonna end today about 11:15. We're gonna go to break. Check out some hot new IUIC information that's going on, and then we're gonna come back with Kingdom Music, Officer Matt. So stick around, y'all. Shalom.
For whatever reason, the challenges that we've had, we go somewhere and we plant, but we've not been able to water.
No hay solución en Ecuador, Venezuela, Colombia, Sudamérica, Chile, Argentina, México, Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, todos donde están las 12 tribus.
Hoy es su día, aunque no lo quiere creer.
El orden social hoy en día, no somos machistas, somos biblísticos.
No son ecuatorianos. Ecuador significa una línea imaginaria.
El sábado es el día de reposo, el domingo es el primer día de la semana.
Así es. Y vamos a defender, vamos a pelear por Jesucristo y Dios.
Yo, we go the distance, across the waters, teach our people, this is a mission. 12 tribes, worldwide, this is redemption. Yeah, this is redemption. This is redemption. We go the distance, across the waters, teach our people, this is a mission. 12 tribes.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Officer Matthew here with Kingdom Music. All right, look, Original Royalty is one of the, if not the hottest, record label on the planet Earth. All right? We got music of all genres. We got R&B, we got hip-hop, we got rock, we got soul, we got jazz. All right. I don't even know another jazz Israelite band, but we got it. Now, we've had a lot of music drop in the recent months. All right. One of which is one of my brothers. You know, we went on a rampage for the brother because they had some fake $5 Indians that was trying to come at the brother all kind of sideways because he actually came back to his heritage. So, like Israelites do, we stuck together and came out for the brother. I'm talking about none other than Big Gad, a.k.a. Seer. You know what I mean? But look, check this video out. Let's see what Gad talking about. I got to say it like that because y'all be like, Judah, but don't nobody have nothing for Gad. So you got to Gad. You got to Gad that thing. You know what I'm saying?
On the pavement. Yes, the kingdom's sacred. No sleep, but the West is craving. No pride around here, cause these scriptures is what I flow. Ain't no need for me to tell them my reader know what I want. Trying to come through and preach what's true. Said you my brother, but you organize a coup. How could you? Last day draft getting judged by your past. Yeah, I'm tearing on your mask, boy, what you been through? I am not here to be taught. Don't know what you thought. Ooh, what you wanna do? You are out of scripts. Keep all of the laws of the Lord you eschewing. Tomorrow my barrel don't stop, keep pulling. Looking to my brother if I really need help. 2 by 2, can't do it by myself. Stacking up to heaven with that spiritual wealth. That's standing by the Lord until I'm trying to sell. Failed so many times. Got grace out, I got up on my grind. Gotta get it right all before the end time. Yeah, cut, let them get another line. Smooth as ever, yeah, we age like wine. Oh, y'all is gonna pay for your crime. That's the end of the road, and I see you at the line, huh? Pace it, pace it, kingdom is ours, face it, pace it, pace it, kingdom is ours, face it, pace it, pace it, kingdom is ours, face it, the kingdom is ours, face it.
Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and will stretch out my hand against thee, and will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. Calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee.
My feet seen a lot of them streets, con a whole lot of them creeks, Dalmatian high spots in they feast. Pray for them when I'm facing the I ain't got no qualm with them, just Yasharala, that's my bond with them. See Eli Audi when the bombs enter, but these sinning ministers don't want repentance. They stopping, I'm not, and the clock is they ticking and talking, that's irking me. It hurt cause they're doing the work, and my purpose is to a certain degree, and certainly the difference between us ain't distance, the difference between us ain't physical, difference between us is faith and repentance. Wicked ministers can't run the race. They just be tripping. The Bible come open and they done it frozen in place. And I ain't the one. They seen my speed. They be like him or go race. Cause CCC's key. You don't only gotta beat me, only keep pace. That's it. Hut two. They only want that bump with you, but I bump back with scripts. Cause they rebuttal. It don't mean nothing. The truth. Deceive the youth. They only want them greens in them suits. But you see what I mean when he step on that scene and that green and he scream that I never knew you.
Alright. Look, y'all, look. Who else would put 2nd Ezra 7 in a music video? Come on. Who else gonna put that in a music video? fire on one side, water in the other, the one thing that only one man can go at a time. Come on, man. You got to see that the prophets are back and the prophets are doing music. And for the record, that was not Officer Noah, nor was it Officer Lavi. All right? It's triplets going around in Israel. All right? There's a triplet set, and that was one of the triplets. Shout out to Officer Noah out of OKC and Officer Lavi out of Jackson. You know, all three of y'all look alike. You know what I mean? I got a picture in my phone with all three of them together. They look like triplets. You know what I'm saying? But that's fire music, all right? And the visual is all a part of it. You saw the chariots, you saw the dragon, you saw the fire on one side, the water on the other. You saw the transformation. The brother fell down, got up in the nice royal warlike apparel. Come on, man. Y'all got to support Israelite music. Go to originalroyalty.com and get Big Gaz album, all right? I'm Officer Matt. This is Kingdom Music.
Yo, we go the distance, across the waters, teach our people, this is a mission. 12 tribes worldwide, this is redemption.
Welcome back to another second half of the show. Article number 9. There was a Edomite that said some truth that got a lot of people mad. It's called The Black Family, 40 Years of Lies. If you click on that, and if you could, we're going to start first by reading. And there's one particular long article I want to get to, a long paragraph rather. Okay. So this is written by K.S. Heimowitz in the summer of 2005. However, this goes back to, it's called the Moynihan Report. And this was a social scientist that was happened to be a white guy, but wrote something about the emergency state of the black family, okay? And black leaders came against this guy, right? So, excuse me, pardon me. Let's go ahead and begin reading.
Yes, sir.
Actually, scroll down a little bit. I mean, how do I say this? Go down. Okay. Right where it says by now. And then after we read by now, I'm going to have you jump on the article. I put a bunch of paragraphs above, Gabe. You see that? I want to find that after we go here, okay? If we can. Go ahead.
By now, these facts shouldn't be hard to grasp. Almost 70% of the black children are born to single mothers.
That was in 2005. Now we're 2023. It's actually high. I believe it's low 70%, which is nothing that's horrible. Read on.
Those mothers are far more likely than married mothers to be poor.
So last week's show, we talked about that two-parent household and single fathers do a much better job statistically in every category compared to single black mothers. That's not an emotional statement. That is a factual statistical statement backed with data, study after study after study. And that's also, we talked about it, it was in the UK as well as the US. So it doesn't really matter what country. As long as it's a Western country that has blacks at the bottom, it's a similar track pattern. Read on.
Even after a post-welfare reform decline in child poverty, they are also more likely to pass that poverty on to their children.
Mm-hmm.
Sophisticates often try to dodge the implications of this bleak reality by shrugging that single motherhood is an inescapable fact of modern life.
Right, and that's what has happened is they've made it a choice through the ability to get an abortion and to get food and to get housing without the ability or without the need to depend on a man, which is one of the reasons why the black middle class is destroyed, because there's no man in a doggone house. Okay, play on.
Affecting everyone from the Bobo Murphy Browns to the ghetto baby mamas. Not so. It is a largely low income and disproportionately black phenomenon.
It's a disproportionately black phenomenon. And also when you find out later, it's Hispanics as well. Now, scroll down a little bit so Officer Mike can see that.
The vast majority of higher income women wait to have their children until they are married. The truth is that we are now a two-family nation, separate and unequal, one thriving and intact, and the other struggling, broken, and far too often African American.
Now, if we can scroll down to the part where Moynihan actually gives a if we could find, it might be hard to find it, but I posted the actual, took the time. Okay. So now, Moynihan, if y'all Google him, he is a white social scientist. He worked with Jimmy Carter. He worked with for many decades of government, right? But he says something that is 100% true, that they were demonizing this guy. Watch what he says. Look, we're gonna read. It's a little bit of reading. Come on.
More than most social scientists, Moynihan stepped in history and anthropology, understood what families do.
He understood why the black middle class has been destroyed, hence the name of the show. Read on.
They shape their children's character and ability, he wrote. By and large, adult conduct in society is learned as a child.
I.e., if you grow up in a home with a black man who is the leader, the head of the household, and a woman who is the mother and caregiver and teacher of the infant and small children, and then when there's a certain age, the father has to take over and teach certain things, they're going to learn values and standards and morals that their parents teach them. How can a single, and listen, I know a lot of brothers are raised by single mothers, and I understand it. We're not diminishing the struggle that the sisters go through as single. We're not doing that. What we're doing is we're showing that without this strong family, this is what you get. So we're not disrespecting single. We're not doing that. A lot of us grew up with single mothers, so we understand that. But in our repentance, we're going to get with our wives and stay with our wives, and that's how we break that stereotype. That's how we break that statistical binding chain that engulfs our neighborhoods. I'll go back.
What children learn in the disorganized homes of the ghetto, as he described through his forest of graphics, was that adults do not finish school.
So what the white man is doing is telling the truth. And when white people tell the truth, black people, no, he's telling the truth. He said the disorganized homes of the ghetto. He says he has a forest. You know what a forest of graphs? I mean, he got so many damn graphs. It's like walking through trees. He got vines and stuff. He got all kind of data, and they ignored this guy. He's saying this should be a national outcry. Okay, play on. I read on.
Get jobs, or in the case of men, take care of their children or obey the law. Marriage, on the other hand, provides a stable home for children to learn common virtues.
And that goes back to, remember we heard before about the black man we showed you in Atlanta neighborhood where black developers were coming together to buy homes and finance homes, and black people were moving in there. You remember what the black man said? He said, man, when I bring my family on vacation, I want to have a good time. I don't want to worry about prejudiced white folks. He said, I go where I know I won't be bothered. So as a man of your family, you're going to teach that moral, which is an ideal value, that look, these people, you got to coexist around them, but they're the enemy. Okay? That needs to be taught to our children. You have a mother, how can she teach the white man that he's the enemy when she depends on him for doggone everything in the house? You understand? It's a sick mindset. And abortion is the main thing that broke the camel's back. The proverbial straw that broke the camels was abortion. And free access to contraceptives and abortion. The murdering of black children and Hispanic children, Native American children. Transition back. Thank you.
Implicit in Moynihan's analysis was that marriage orients men and women towards the future.
Stop. You see, everybody knows for millennial that man, and this is not meant to be offensive to any of our brothers who are in the homosexual lifestyle or in that. Listen, y'all got to repent, because marriage is for men and women. Because marriage creates families. You can't have a family unless a man has a baby with his wife, which is the mother of his children. And this is not hate. It's not hate speech. 40 years ago, if you were to say a man could have a baby, they'll look at you like you're a nut job. Okay, read on.
Towards the future, asking them not just to commit to each other, but to plan, to earn, to save, and to devote themselves to advancing their children's prospects.
Because if you do that, when you get married, you'll do the same and try to even advance further for your, hence creating generational wealth, generational value, creating grandparents, okay, great-grandparents. These are things that makes the black middle class continue to go on and actually create an upper black middle class in some situations. Read on.
Single mothers in the ghetto, on the other hand, tend to drift into pregnancy, often more than once and by more than one man, and to float through the chaos around them. Such mothers are unlikely to shape their children's character and ability.
So now, this is a white man's analysis that black people have a hard time accepting truth. And he's telling the truth. And this was a report that he put forth that, listen, things need to get done. We need to address these things. Play on, read on.
In ways that lead to upward mobility. Separate and unequal families, in other words, meant that blacks would have their liberty, but that they would be strangers to equality. Hence Monahan's conclusion.
This is his conclusion. Watch this.
A national effort towards the problems of Negroes.
A national effort, meaning this needs to be a national push for black Negroes. Read on.
Americans must be directed towards the question of the family structure.
This white political leader was like, we got to do something with these black people. Their family structure is destroyed. And he was shot down. Okay? So even when the enemy's saying, listen, we got to do something about it. They shot him down. They said that, oh, you blaming the victims? No, we need to be blamed. We need to be blamed. We need to go back to, now listen, the things that were set up, it is an oppressive society. In Jim Crow, all of that is true. But we, just like in Rosewood, just like in the 1860s during post-Reconstruction, we created towns when we stuck together. We created that. Okay, it wasn't easy, okay?
And what's crazy is we've had, like, y'all always tell a story, Cap, when y'all was in Bishop's house, how he would always go over marriage. Get your house in order. Right. Get your house together. It was the same marriage class with a different title. Yep. More scriptures coming out, and that's why we're number 3 in the doggone United States as a hate group, and the Ku Klux Klan is number 20. We're the group that focuses on marriage and family. I've been hearing about this since I've been in the truth. Marriage, family, marriage, because all of that shapes the fabric of who we are.
So if we don't follow that honor in marriage and we just start dealing with women and not making them our wives and going back to this one, that's not right. That's not right. And that's what a lot of black brothers in the world. And look, and we've seen in this truth, not saying no names, not saying no cities. Listen, a lot of people to this day, we have not shooken the world off us, and we're dealing with fornication. It's been around, okay? And if y'all got that spirit in you, you better repent, okay? We need to repent as a people. Now, I want to share a story. I just found this several hours ago. I was looking for a story, and I found this. This is really good. Get me article number 10. And so this is a story. This is pretty moving. This is a pretty moving story because it's about a girl that, well, I don't want to give it away. We're going to read about it. 10 is about, it's the sister, abortion's impact in the black community. So Bishop Nathaniel, shout out to Bishop Nathaniel. All praise to the Most High. Thank you for your continued leadership, Bishop. We got to understand something that Bishop has brought out multiple times about more black murder has occurred in the womb than any other form. If you put it all together, I think it's 19 million since 1977. 19 million black. I think that's just the black women. That doesn't even include our Hispanic and Native American, which is still the 12 tribes. It's probably in the excess of 25 million or more. Probably Probably more than. Now, this is heavy because this sister here, towards the end, we're going to find out. It's beautiful. I like, her name is Christina Bennett, I think her name is. But and she's probably, look at her eye sacks. She probably 45. She probably 50, right? But let's read.
Abortion's impact on the black community.
Check this out.
I grew up in a predominantly liberal and pro-choice state of Connecticut.
That's where I lived for most of my life. Connecticut is a very liberal state. It's also a very racist state. Read on.
In my state, teenagers are required by law to get their parents' permission if they want a tattoo.
You heard that? So to mark your body up with a needle, you got to get the tattoo guy. If you're 17, you have to get a signature to get a tattoo where this is in the state of Connecticut. I'm going to show you how slick the white man is. Read on.
A piercing or a professional tan.
So hold up. Even if black people ain't gonna, but let's say you're real bright skinned or whatever. Even a white girl that's 16 got in her state when in the 80s, you had to get a parental signature to get a professional tan or any type of piercing, blah 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 blah. Read on.
Yet when it comes to getting a surgical or medical abortion, their parents don't even have to know about their decision.
You see how evil that is right there? I want you to understand something. Before Roe versus Wade, you had to go a whole lot of stuff to get an abortion. Okay? This is in the 80s. Now, watch this. So this sister's now going to tell a story. Play on.
I attended a few different churches growing up, but I don't recall ever hearing a message on abortion. I went to public schools from kindergarten through college, yet never heard abortion discussed by my teachers as anything more than a woman's right or basic health care. When a friend got an abortion in high school, I was only worried because her parents found out. My ignorance about abortion made me apathetic.
Meaning she really didn't have too much of a position on it, right? But watch this. Read on.
It wasn't until I was in college that my mother told me a story that would change my life.
So watch this. So during this time, Hartford, Connecticut is the capital of Connecticut. It is a predominantly black and Hispanic city. I taught there maybe 15 years ago. In the neighborhood I taught in was predominantly Hispanic, and there was some Judah there too. And most of the teachers were Caucasian, and I think there was maybe one other person that would walk in the neighborhood. I walked into the bodega one time, and they said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm getting a bag of chips. What you doing here?" And they said, "The teachers don't walk in this neighborhood." Well, I said, "Well, I am you. What you talking about?" So my point is that Hartford, Connecticut is ghetto as hell. I guess that's my point. Play on.
It wasn't until I was in college that my mother told me a story that would change my life.
So her mother is now breaking it down to her about her mother's experience with what almost happened. Read.
In 1981 in Hartford, Connecticut, my mother had an appointment to abort me. She met with a counselor who didn't give her an actual counsel.
So she met with somebody. She found out she was pregnant. She met with a counselor. The counselor did not really give her. When you counsel somebody, it's, okay, you could do this, and these are the implications and ramifications, or you could do this. So she didn't even get counsel. Well, this is some sick twisted stuff, okay? And remember, we rose in the 20s and the 10s. We rose in the 60s. We began to form institutions and create black middle class. They had to figure out a way how to destroy that. You have to give the black woman a different power structure to believe in. You give her the right to do evil and get away with it. Okay, that is what I'm telling you. That's why the black middle class is non-existent. It's falling apart. Read on.
Instead, she told her, "This seems like the best decision for you to make." The abortion was paid for, and she was already wearing the medical gown.
You hear that? So who you think paid for that? So hold up. Now they're bringing medical professionals in for a surgical abortion. So who's paying for that? The school. The mother doesn't know about this. I'm talking about her. So this sister that's writing this, her grandmother doesn't know about this. Because remember, you didn't even have to let anybody know what you was doing. So watch what happened. This is a good story. Read on.
She said yes, but in the 11th hour, God heard her silent cry. He sent a janitor, an elderly African-American woman, to approach my mother, to look her in the eyes as she was crying in the hallway, and to say, do you want to have this baby? And my mother said yes. She said yes.
So here's the thing. You got a school counselor. Isn't that her job? Isn't the school counselor's job to say, sweetheart, I know it's going to be hard. That's what they call guidance counselors in high school. So she didn't get no guidance. You want to know why? Because there's an agenda. These niggas, they get pregnant. Yo, we'll give you money. We got you. Here go $5,000. And there was a line. These women were getting abortions, and the parents weren't knowing about it, and they were getting paid for this, man. I'm telling you some wicked ass stuff. And this is going on in many high schools to this day. And this is one example. This is a story where, read on.
The janitor told her, God will give you the strength to have your baby. When my mother went to the waiting room to retrieve her things, the doctor called her name. She then went back to the procedure room.
Remember, she's in a gown. The Most High sent somebody, a messenger, and maybe the sister will wake up, right? You never know. Because this is last year, so she's still alive, Lord's will. So she sent the spirit on the old janitor to say, do you want to have this baby? Get out. So then she's getting her stuff. She's in the medical gown. She steps in the grab her stuff, and she sees something. Read on.
Where there was blood on the floor from the last abortion.
So guess what? There was more than one. This shit was a regular thing that goes on in these schools in the ghetto. I'm telling you. And watch this.
She walked out. I owe my life to my mother's courage in that moment.
Go down.
I'm leaving, my mother told him. I'm keeping my child. And he said, no, you've already paid for this. He told her.
Let me tell you something. She didn't pay for that. How the hell a high school, she didn't, I'm telling you. And the doctor said, no, where's the guidance counselor to say, hey, look, hey, asshole. She said no. Where's somebody, nobody's standing up for these unborn black children. Excuse my language for swearing. That pisses me off. And I'm telling you, man, a lot of these black people and some of these black folks are principals, and they watch this crap go on. Okay, hopefully it's not as bad now. Maybe it is. Maybe it's worse. I don't know. So he said, no, you've already paid for this. No, she has not. Read on.
He told her she was just nervous and yelled at her, don't leave this room. Thankfully, she did not listen to him. She walked out. I owe my life to my mother's courage in that moment.
Wow. Scroll down.
Abortion in the black community. The shocking revelation set me on a path to discover the truth I'd never been taught. What I learned about abortion burdened me so greatly that I've dedicated my life to fighting against it. There's a popular saying.
Okay, so now I just wanted to share that to you, that it is, even in the world that sister wasn't in the truth, she didn't understand. But sometimes you see a story like this, she would have never been born if her mother had and there's pressure and there's things that are set up for, they don't have to pay for these things. He said it's already been paid for. Okay, she said you pay for it. She didn't pay for nothing. Because remember the top of the article, you don't even need the consent. You can get it for a tattoo, you need parental consent. To buy liquor and cigarettes, you need identification. But to get an abortion, you could be a minor, don't worry about it. We'll pay for it. And when you right before you're ready to go, there's pressure for you to keep going. Okay? And if it's happened with one, it's happened up. Now, before we move on to the last section, I got one more article I want to get to, and it is, I'm going to end this with positive. So now I want to show you a black father that did stick around. And look, at first I started listening to this guy a little bit arrogant, but the more I listen to this guy, and I pray the Lord, this brother can repent. I really do. Give me number 5. And this is a black man. The brother is confused. He calls, I'm a mixture. No, you ain't mixed nothing, brother. You a nigga, okay? And I mean that respectfully, bro, because you got style. I get it, brother. You got style. And he's very logical. And by the way, the reason why I'm playing this is because he's being interviewed, And he's talking about growing up with a very intelligent black father that has been in his life growing up. All right, watch this.
You were growing up, did you know your dad was in the CIA? He had left the military by the time I was like 3 when he left to pursue chess. My father was the highest rated black chess player in history. So
Stop.
I kind of...
See that? Scroll back, because this is why you really got to be careful, because there's some scenes when you see this dude when his younger years and he had more like flowy hair. Yo, you're like, this is a white dude. No, look at his pops and look at him. Okay? I want to see Dad. There you go. You think you're right.
In CIA. He had left the military by the time I was like 3 when he left to pursue chess. My father was...
Okay. I want Dad right there. Okay. This is Dad. This is Andrew Tate's father. Okay. He was the highest rated chess player. They call it black chess player, but they can't just give him that. But he's the black chess player. And he was also in the CIA. He has the record for learning a foreign language faster than anybody, like something like less than 3 weeks. But here's my point. My point is that he got his confidence because his father was in his life. The only mistake he made is he married a white woman. But doesn't matter. Seed of Israel. The point is that when you have a father that's in your life and involved, Andrew Tate learned to be very good at chess because his father trained him. His father taught him many values. So now he's going to tell a story and remembering his father. Play.
Chess player in history. So I kind of grew up around all these chess geniuses, which is a really unusual way to grow up because you have like ex-KGB guys, you have complete autists. I've never met anybody else in the world who had the level of intelligence he had. When I was with my father, if he needed your phone number, he'd ask, what's your phone number? And you'd say it once, and that was it for the rest of his life. He didn't have to write it down. You tell him an address, that was it for the rest of his life. My father, he held the CIA record for the fastest assimilation of a foreign language. My father learned Russian within 2.5 weeks from 0.
So look. So, and when you get a chance, just to put out there, and I know Andrew Tate probably never going to see this. Andrew Tate, brother, you got it all, bro. You got riches and all that. I understand that. Thank the Lord that your father is Israelite, brother. You're an Israelite. You need to learn God's commandments. You need to find that one woman and settle down and marry. I know it's going to be hard for you. Marry that one sister. You find a black woman. You understand that? And keep the commandments and use your resources behind the scenes to help push this truth, brother, because a lot of things you say be on point, but some things you got to correct, man. And so shout out to Andrew Tate that he repent, all right? And it's good that he acknowledges his black father, all right? Now, so look, we're gonna transit. We're gonna keep time. We're gonna keep time. Was there one more? Now, hang on a second. I think there's one more before we go to Lard back attack. I think that might be it. Did we get to all of them? Hey, play that. Yeah, Officer Matt had a good one. Play that, please. So we got to everything. All praise to the Most High. We missed one thing, but I ain't going to go to
that. So this is it's going to go back and forth. So it said black women abort at almost 4 times the rate of white women. 4 times. Play it. Stop. So, the black abortion rate per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44 is 25.1. Hispanics, 11.7. White abortion rate, 6.6. Per 1,000 women. Out of every 1,000 women, 25 black women get an abortion.
Right. Actually, hold up. It's more than that. No, you're correct. 25%. That's staggering. That means if this ain't per 100, right?
Yes, sir. Per 1,000. Per 1,000.
Okay. All right.
Per every 1,000 women, 25 black women get an abortion.
That's great.
Per 1,000, 11 Hispanic women get an abortion.
And that just says number of reported abortions.
Right.
Yes. So I just wanted to show that it was going to go in conjunction with the things you were showing about the abortion rate earlier. But it goes to show you the statistics don't lie. There was a reason for the black middle class to be attacked. There was a reason why now the black man is looked at as the enemy to the black woman. There's a reason why black women that want to be wives are called pick-me's. There's a reason why every black man that doesn't want to stick around for the toxic black woman is now called a deadbeat dad. There's a reason for all of this stuff, and it's to destroy us, and it's been working. But now we're coming out of that stigma, and we're starting to reclaim our right as fathers and as men. And Andrew Tate, though he got locked up recently, Cap.
Yep.
He got locked up recently, all because of what the stuff that he was saying.
What he was saying, but what they're coming from, like they came for Cosby. Yep. And they're gonna send these women in to lie. And this is why the value, and the brother talks about he's top G, and bro, he's a likable guy. But you dealing with all these different women, bro, it's gonna come back to you, bro. And you can repent to that. And I know it's hard because when you got that money, you got Bugatti and all that fancy cars, and that's great. Okay, all praises that the Most High bless you with wealth, but there comes responsibility with that wealth. You know what I'm saying? But look, we're gonna stick to our time. Listen, I hope that we inspired y'all to continue. Listen, when we were in the 60s, we had a social structure, we had a middle class, and it's slowly dwindling and being destroyed. Because you need a nuclear heterosexual family, husband, wife, to create children, morals, and values, and to come out of the degraded state our people have fallen into. So with that, look, we're going to transition over to the last section. It's late with myself. It's called Lard Back Attack, and it's not meant to destroy people that are calorically challenged around their midsection, hips, and thighs. It's meant to motivate you to lose that calorical deposit around your midsection, thighs, and waist. Okay? All praise to the Most High. Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Look, so last section of the night, Lard Back Attack. This is the reality, okay? More than 75% of black women are overweight, obese, or morbidly obese. If you don't know the difference, look it up. Obese is a very bad thing, and morbidly obese is even worse. Okay, so a quick section to show you what not to be like. And I'm going to show you one sister, and he might be East Indian. I thought maybe he's, I don't know. But I wanted to show you an example of a man and a woman. Start at, I think it's 2 minutes flat. And this is what you don't want to do, okay? Give me Sirach 30, verse 25. And I'm going to really keep going back to about a handful of 10 to 12 scriptures and keep repeating it over and over again, because McDonald's and Arby's and Wendy's, they keep hitting you with the same commercials. We're going to keep hitting you with the lard back attack until you lard backs lose the weight. And you can do it, okay? Go ahead, read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 25. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
So a cheerful and a good heart is going to have a care of what they put into their bodies. Right now, we're going to show you an extreme example, okay, of several lardbacks who do not have a care at all of their meat and diet, okay? And we have a visual corresponding video to demonstrate this particular point. Could we please play that? Stop! All right, so we see a gentleman who absolutely is no stranger to drive-ins, drive-thrus. He's giving a critique on a new sandwich that he finds revolutionary. And I'm not sure if this particular gentleman should be eating what he's eating now, given the physical attributes that he exhibits on his chins and other parts of his anatomy. Play.
Mr. Hampton sandwich, the buttermilk, buffalo chicken sandwich from Arby's. Let's give it a bite. Okay, let's go.
Pause. If you notice that lardbacks are not concerned with how they look when they eat. They're really just, they're engulfed in the opportunity to express themselves in the moment, okay? Again, it goes, and I'm making a lot of fun of fat people right now because it's a choice. It's a first world problem that should not even be here. Okay, people that starve to death and they can't get heat and they can't get basic essential needs, and lardbacks are first rate and first world problems that do not need to be here. Play on.
Woo. Now let's get some mayonnaise on the other side.
Now pause. Read that scripture again. We almost done, Akiem. So notice the lardback, okay? Instead of being a little bit embarrassed of the fact that he's got a big giant glob of a quarter teaspoon of mayonnaise on his left lower upper second or first chin, whatever which one it is, the lardback now wants to put mayonnaise on the other side. Notice lardbacks are very creative individuals. Why are you laughing, Gabe? Gabe probably does this once a week. Gabe is not as fat as this guy. Play.
Look how much stuff they put on this thing, man. It's crazy. I mean, look at that. It's freaking crazy, man. I gotta suck my thumb.
All right, look. Okay, so yes, is this funny? You damn well better believe it. Because here's the thing. I would be willing to bet, and also, Mike, you're a mechanic, correct? I would be willing to bet that the shocks on the driver's side of this man's car are being fully exercised on a daily basis, okay?
It reminds me of Retribution and Norbit.
Right. Yes. Now, so we're getting on the brothers, but we there's a sister next. There's some of you sisters going to be upset, but that's why I start with the man first. Again, play on.
Oh my God.
Now, hold on. Now, here's a lovely sister. And notice her head wrap, just on point, right? So great. She's got nice nails, this and that. And we're going to find out. Read Sirach 30, verse 25. We're going to ready to close out soon.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 25.
Uh-huh.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
And it says his meat, but it also is talking about the women. So if you sisters or you brothers find yourself exhibiting this type of eating pattern, you need to stop. You are a lardback, okay? Play on.
Yeah. This big. Okay, let me
now, if this is a fat woman, she is astounded at the magnitude. She's used to eating a lot of food. This to her is revolutionary. Okay, let's hear her authentic commentary. Play on.
Yeah. Damn, I don't know how to hold it. Jesus, how you hold this? Okay, let me get my thumbnail, y'all. This is a beast.
So here's the thing. This sister she's not showing her lower body. She's morbidly obese. She probably 350, 400 pounds. Seriously. And I'm making fun of it. But the reality is that we saw a video before on the show of a debutante in the late 60s. And when you look at how black women were in the 50s, 60s, and even early 70s, they didn't look like this. Obesity is a problem in the black Hispanic community. It leads to diabetes, prediabetes, diabetes 2. It leads to strokes, heart disease, which leads to strokes, and it also leads to heart attacks. And we as Israelites, we should not be rolling like this. And some sisters and brothers will say, well, I got a gland problem. No, nigga, you ain't got a gland problem. You got a sticky finger problem. You grab everything, you just put the damn thing down. 1 meal a day, healthy keto, you big, fat, disgusting lard asses. You don't need to eat 4 times a day. Healthy keto. Cut the carbs, lard backs. Play on.
Okay. Good Jesus. I don't even know. All right, let me get this together. So y'all can see it. And my fries right here, y'all. I'm trying to see how to tackle it. Jesus. Oh, Lord. Okay, and they got cheese. Y'all can do a bite of that. Y'all know Burger King got the best burgers now.
Now, in order for this sister to know if Burger King has the best burgers, she has eaten at Arby's, Hardee's, McDonald's, Sonic. She has had all the different brands, and she has come to a conclusion through experience. Ain't that right, Gabe? Gabe sweating. And we got brothers in the room right now like, damn, I wish I had that. All right, well, look, here's the thing. We're gonna stop it here. The point is that, listen, we are making fun of them because they're fat, okay? You don't got to be fat. That's your choice. It's a first world problem, lard ass, okay? Look, here's a solution. If you are a big, fat, disgusting lard ass, this is what you do. Eat meat, a truckload of vegetables, low sugar berries like raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries. Drink nothing but water, and don't eat no bread or none of that crap. Do it 1 time a day to way to fall. It's called healthy keto. Look it up, lard asses. With that, I'm Captain Shum. This is the Lard Back Attack. We'll see you next week. Please transition out. I'm telling you what, shout out, listen, let me just say this. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters in IUIC. And look, we just try to have a little fun, and we pray that, listen, we got to take care of our health, we got to take care of our diets, and we do not want to see people catching diseases and heart attacks. And remember, the whole thing with the corona, they talked about in these future diseases that they're going to create in labs with through animal mutations and DNA swapping, all that, is if you're obesity, you're a higher rate to catch diseases. So this is what we're poking fun of. I am having fun with it, but we have brothers and sisters who are really mainly the brothers are really doing a great job, who have lost and met their goal weight in like 6 months or under. So shout out to everybody who's trying. Don't give up, all right? So look, thanks for sticking with us. We're a little bit over, but we stuck to our time for the most part. We're going to go to last announcements, and we get ready to close out.
Give alms. To give alms to your local school, drop an envelope in your alms box. To give online via PayPal at IUIC New Orleans, IUIC.NewOrleans@IsraelUnite.org. Also, the Booster Club. They're doing great things in Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. To give to the Booster Club, IUIC.fundraising@IsraelUnite.org. So let's make sure we donate and giving alms. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Hey, shalom, shalom. So, hey, thanks for sticking around. It's late. Another edition of Precept Upon Precept. Listen, go to our website, go to our YouTube page. I want you to subscribe, bell notification, share, comment, all that good stuff that you tech nerds do. Share us. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscriptions. We're almost there. We're doing a great job. We appreciate commentary. Look, we do take live Zoom calls. I know it's a lot of you, it's late, but stick around. Tomorrow night is the big night, the heavy hitter lineup. It's Friday night Deacon Asaph, everybody, Book of Our Fathers, the Hammer, Fix Your Face. So listen, we all look forward to Fix Friday. It's late, y'all. Precept upon precept. And with that, we say
Shalom.
Shalom.
Judah blood. I see. Look, I see matches in the kingdom. I see hundreds.